Hello, we are live, and ooh boy, we are looking really. Uh, Boy, that's really kind of snowy. I hope it isn't as snowy as it looks to me on screen. But hey, how's it going, everybody? And happy holiday depression. I hope you're all doing okay out there. And I just wanted to kind of start doing more weekly shows where I'll be talking about comics. I've been trying to figure out where to really talk about the new comics that come out, and also the news of the week that a lot of people want to hear about. But frankly, I don't know. There's some things that like casting news. I don't always find that interesting because usually usually the story is like, hey, this guy got cast. I guess it'll be fine. I don't usually have too many strong opinions, but I will have some opinions. So I think we can kind of throw them into the video. And I kind of miss doing live streams. So we're going to be talking about that now. And okay, before we get started, I want to talk about what's going on. We're going to be trying to do live streams for the most part during Sundays. I'm gonna try and do them on Sundays. If I'm busy on that Sunday, I'll move it to the most appropriate day. Like if I'm not busy, Monday, Tuesday, so on and so forth. Otherwise, I'll just straight up cancel it. But I would like to, from going forward, like to do live streams at least once a week now. Hopefully, we'll see about that. Anyway, I'm gonna try and also do 2 videos a week, and it's looking like I'm probably gonna be posting on Tuesdays and maybe Friday, Saturday. I think that's probably what we're looking at. So until I kind of like got a good hang of it, probably maybe Friday, Saturday will be my second. But I have a video all shot and ready to go. It's already on Patreon. If you want to watch it now, it's my One Piece Netflix live action season 1 review. And you can hit the Patreon right now if you want to go see it right now. If you want to save a buck, you can wait until Tuesday. But I'm pretty happy with it. And I'm pretty happy with One Piece material right now. So I might be doing One Piece videos. I'm not sure what exactly. I have a couple things I could probably talk about. I am thinking about reading more of the manga, and I'll probably be doing like maybe videos about that because I am primarily a comic book guy on a comic book channel. So that's probably what's going to happen. Excuse me. But hey, you let me know if you're digging One Piece and you want to hear me talk about it. I can see if there's anything I can bring up about the show or with the manga. Hey, Marion, it's been a while. Yeah, sorry about that. Things have been kind of kooky crazy. So I'd like to hopefully see if I can maybe stick the landing and stick the landing. That doesn't make any sense. Stick to a schedule. And I'm going to be trying to do live shows on Sunday nights, unless I have to postpone it to a different day. So, hey, that's kind of going to be what's going on going forward is maybe 2 videos a week reviewing something or a commentary video and a live show for the week. So that's kind of what I'm going to be hoping to do. So going forward, I'm going to be talking more about like older comic book runs, a film, Mystery Science Theater 3000, some sort of opinion video, and whatever goes up my butt for whatever I want to talk about. Now, with the live show, I'm going to be talking about primarily like comic news bits, because frankly, sometimes comic news, sometimes geek culture news, to me doesn't warrant like a whole fucking video about it. So that I think kind of like fits in with the live show. And I think I'll be doing more new comic reviews on the live show. So at least that's kind of what the plan is right now. And I got a couple of comments. Cool. Marion, it sucks that Owl House got cut short the way it did. That also sounds good. Code anime fan Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor is the Superman legacy casting choice that I approve of most far. Yes, and I will get into that. But first off, I want to let you in on what's going on today. Let's see. Like I said, I wanted to kind of catch you up on the new schedule. I have been really down on doing the channel. I've been really kind of like discouraged on doing the channel in the last couple of years. I've been kind of up and down. Lately, I've kind of gotten back into it. Like I'm kind of interested. I kind of maybe figured things out for me. So I'll be doing 2 new recorded videos a week and a live stream at least once a week, probably on Sundays. All right. And that's kind of what I got going on right now, where I'll be talking more about the biz and a little bit more about writing. I want to do more writing videos. Up next Tuesday is going to be my One Piece review. And after that, I think I'm going to be doing either my next Mystery Science Theater review or I do have a writing video. I got a pretty good suggestion. So I probably might be doing a discussion like that. So, hey, things have been fun. I have been kind of working on, writing. I had the Red Knight Kickstarter for issue 7. That went well. I just did my first bookstore signing, and that was crazy. I've never done one before. I did one comic store once when I did issue 4 a couple of years ago, and never done a bookstore. And the good folks at the Book Exchange over in Norfolk said, yeah, you can come over. And it's like, well, okay, do you want a piece of my sales? Like, no, just come in, sell books. I'm like, okay, great. I did really well, and I am definitely doing more of that. That was really fun. And hey, when you go on tour, people notice you. So that's kind of, I guess, obvious to people who've been doing this for years. So looking, I'm going to be talking about, let's see, not just my channel, but I'm going to be doing a little bit of comic news, where I got a couple of tidbits I want to talk about and give my opinion about. I also have a new comic review. I have read Captain Marvel 1 and 2. I picked those up recently. I'm a little behind on comics, so I'm going to have to play catch up, and that's going to be the live stream. The live stream is going to keep me going. And let's see, what else is on the agenda here? That's actually kind of it. I'm going to kind of keep it simple for this week's debut. So, and also I'll be answering any questions you might have for me, either during the whole show or at the end of the show if you have anything particularly you want me to like really dig into. Let's see. I do have I already did see that. All right. I guess we're going to go into. I'm going to do comic reviews first, and I am really excited about the new Captain Marvel series, and apparently Marvel is too, because they've given Captain Marvel a new costume. She has this awesome Cammy from Street Fighter 2 look that I'm absolutely in love with. They've redone her logo, and yeah, I know they rebooted, but like you change the letter on a Marvel comic and you renumber the book. So, but that's not even a thing. Like the new She-Hulk series just renumbered its series. There is not a damn thing different about the new book. It's just to bump up sales, and it's annoying as hell. And I wish they'd stop doing it. But this one has let's see, Alyssa Wong, and let's see, Jan Basladova. Excuse me if I mess that up, is doing the art. And I have never seen Jan's art before, but it is gorgeous. I don't know if it can come up appropriately on these pages, but her stuff is excellent. I have really, Captain Marvel's had, some pretty good pages in the past, but I have never seen the book look this good and this energized. It has like almost like, God, a little bit of a old school anime style to its energy. which I think. Oh, here's a good one. I mean, this book looks gorgeous, and I hope this team stays together. But what's it about, you may wonder? Well, glad you asked me. Anyway, there's this new character that just pops up in the first scene who calls herself the Omen, and she looks a lot like Deathbird, frankly. And she, once Captain Marvel's energy, she starts fighting, and it looks like she sucks her into this, whirlpool dimension thing, and we don't see her for a while. That is until we cut to this character. Let's see, Yuna Yang. And she's breaking into a previous Captain Marvel, the Captain Marvel from the Peter David run, the guy who was like the son of the old original Captain Marvel. And she's breaking into his place. At the same time, the Omen shows up and is fighting him. And holy shit, she slaughters him. She cuts off his hands. She impales him. And she's going to steal his bands, his energy bands. But they get on Yang instead, and she is thrown out the window, and she clangs them together, and boom, she trades places with Captain Marvel. This is the exact problem Peter David's Captain Marvel had with Rick Jones. They would like trade places, and he would go to this, I don't know, dimension. Let's see, the negative zone, and they would like have to take a break, I guess, while the other one is off fighting in the real world. And that happens to Carol and Yang. And by the way, it's a big problem. So if you knock your wrists together, you switch. And it's kind of funny, like this is kind of mirroring, the situation Carol's in with the Marvel movies, but not as bad. Because I mean, Carol switched in the movie, she switched with Miss Marvel and Monica, who can defend themselves, and Yang is a person, so that's kind of sucks for them. But it ends with the Omen escaping with the old Captain Marvel's body, and what she does in issue 2 is kind of ghastly. She sends it after them while they're both trying to figure out like their new status quo. Like, hey, we're trading places right now. Isn't that weird? And they're suddenly attacked by him. During the fight, by the way, look at this art. This art is excellent. Really, really happy with the art in this book. Very happy. But anyway, during the fight, they realize, let's see, let me get to this part right here where, let's see, he's not himself. And not only is he not himself, he is actually being like kind of driven like some kind of like robot mech suit or something. Like she is in his body, like making it work. It's kind of horrifying when you think about it. So yeah, I'm not too sure what her like big goals are. And I guess that's the big mystery of this arc. And what's going to happen? Like I don't know if through the rest of Wong's series, Captain Marvel and Yang are going to be in this weird switcheroo situation. I hope that doesn't stay. I'll be honest, I'm not like the biggest fan of that. I wasn't a big fan of that when Peter David was doing that in his Captain Marvel series. So I hope it doesn't stick around. But for like an arc, it's really interesting to see Carol deal with this exact problem a previous Captain Marvel dealt with. I really enjoyed this. This is the most I loved, and I will talk up and down about how great Kelly Thompson's run on Captain Marvel was, and like I actually think it's kind of better than DeConnick's. But even I will admit, in the last year, it did have that kind of winding down vibe. Even when they did that big crossover with the X-Men, it still felt like, okay, we're kind of wrapping up. And the energy was kind of like a little low. This cranks it up. And really, really like this one a lot. Definitely recommend checking out. 5 out of 5 Rams chips for both issues. I think they're really good. Let me go to any kind of like comments here. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see. You like Captain Marvel too? I feel like I'm the only one on YouTube that likes her. Let me tell you something. The loud ones don't like her, and they don't even have any real good reasons. Like they'll go, "Oh, I hate Captain Marvel because they don't like her character." Well, really? What issues have you read of her? Oh well, I like skimmed through that Civil War II issue. I'm like, no, okay, you don't have a really strong opinion. It's just this weird cult of hatred that's like centered around that character and the movie version, and God, it's annoying. I gotta tell you something. As a fan, I've been a fan of Wonder Woman all my life, and particularly I got really big into Wonder Woman through Zero Hour, and about what was that, 90, 91, 92, or something like that. Big fan of Wonder Woman. And I became a big fan of this Captain Marvel when she took over the mantle, and that's what, 2012 or something like that. I have not had to deal with the amount of like incel sexist hate for Wonder Woman anywhere near compared to Captain Marvel during that time. And Captain Marvel barely really leans into the the topics and like discussions of feminism as even as much as Wonder Woman. And it's so irritating. But like that's the lead. That's what they try. And God, it's kind of exhausting. But I don't care. That's the fun thing about being an older fan. You don't have to give a shit. I don't give a shit what those people think. I like what I like. And I agree. You should like what you like. But hey, Manos, in your opinion, do you think the MCU deserves the overwhelming hate it's getting lately? No, no, it doesn't. I mean, it does deserve some criticism, obviously. I have my issues too, but even with the dreaded Phase 4 that everyone totally agrees is the worst thing ever, there's a lot of great stuff in it. And matter of fact, I kind of don't have anything I really vehemently dislike. Even the What If series, which I don't care for, it's mostly out of the fact that I just don't care for it. I'm not a fan of that comic, nor am I a fan of like that approach. But like the way it's made is really objectively good. But it's just not my thing. So no, I do think it had. I've talked about this a little bit in my "What's the Deal with the MCU" video, where I partly theorize. I have a couple theories, but one of them is like they've been a victim of their own success. They have been just dominating, and you can't do anything like that. You can't be all over the place releasing 3 movies a year, 3 TV shows a year, and they all tie into each other. You can't keep doing that without a portion of the audience going, "Okay, I'm done." And it's not just like loud DC fans anymore. It's not just loud incels anymore. It's some people are just kind of done with that kind of thing. It doesn't matter if the general amount of like stuff coming out of the MCU is good or not. It's just people kind of get tired of it. So I do think that's kind of one of the problems I'm seeing. But as far as the actual work is coming out of it, I think they're still coming up with solid stuff. Like I really love the Marvels and Guardians 3, and I love Werewolf by Night. I will tell everyone, watch Werewolf by Night. I have actually watched reviews of horror channels on YouTube that don't give one single shit about the MCU, or in even cases to hate them, will give high praise to that because it's really profoundly good. And if you haven't seen it, if you like the MCU and you haven't checked out Werewolf by Night, hit Disney Plus. I personally like the black and white version, but I think it stands strong either way. Let's see. A lot of people, agreed. Like, I think it's really good. I think my favorite Phase 3 film is still Black Panther. I actually think my favorite MCU film is the original Black Panther. But like, I really enjoyed the Captain Marvel film. Let's see. Yeah, I hate how hating the Marvel MCU is now a thing. yeah, it's kind of boring. It's kind of like the cool kids now hate it, and you're not cool. You're just annoying. Um, let's see. Honestly, if Disney falls, Marvel falls. If Disney fails, Marvel fails. Disney ain't gonna fail. Like Disney had like a slow year. Yeah, Disney's slow year is better than everybody else's good years. That's one of the things. They've just gotten so colossally huge, and they have all these kind of like, yeah. That's one of the things. Like as all for all the shit online shit Disney gets, like I don't feel like they get enough for the actual crap they do. Like the corporate crap they do. I don't particularly care for. I don't really like how they are doing their best to own everything, and you know I see why, because when they have an off year, then they can like lean on this. Oh, they can lean on the theme park. Oh, they can lean on these movies. Oh, they can lean on this. So you know what? I yeah, they're not going anywhere. Oh, I don't know. They have a couple movies do okay. That's not going to kill anybody. WB had a worse year. I saw a post online asking like who had the worst 100th anniversary, Disney or WB. It's like, oh my god, WB by a long way. WB like nearly fell apart completely this year. And I've been thinking about Barbie, and like Barbie was a giant hit, and what if Barbie was a bomb? Like, what if Barbie flopped? What if that would have been, oh, just like the clusterfuck that would have been. So I don't know. Let's see. I tend to love most of the MCU stuff coming out, and I don't think it's any better or worse than stuff. Yeah, I agree. I think right now it's like I was saying before, like it's a victim of its own success. Maybe it's just like too. Maybe people are too used to it. Maybe people are too. Uh, maybe some things need to be spiced up. The problem is the MCU is patterned and designed to work just like the Marvel comics, and Marvel comics work on like like a comfortable pattern. Like, hey, you come to the Marvel universe to see, hey, Spider-Man and the X-Men, and they're gonna do this kind of thing for a couple months, and they're gonna go to this, and it's all gonna get you to read the next one, and like they've successfully patterned the films to work like the comics. And um unlike the DC universe, which has a lot of its design comes in from a different place, and you could do you know different DC films that have different like vibes, and they don't have to tie into each other. And I think that's an advantage DC has, and the fact that they have not taken advantage of that in their films for the most part is like part of the reason why they had to restart and reboot. Oh wow, what do you know? The films had to reboot too. Um, I think it looks like James Gunn is learning that lesson. I'm going to get into James Gunn and DC in just a minute here. Hello. Let's see. Eventually, Disney is going to run. It is not going to run out of shit. What they already own is a lot, and they could just develop new things or figure out how to milk this other thing. And the live action like remakes of their animateds, which I wish they would kind of like wrap that up, but like the Little Mermaid did really well, and I think got an audience. I mean, they can figure it out. I mean, they kind of are really good at the business part of show business. Let's see. I think for better or for worse, comic movies are becoming more and more like their comic book counterparts. Yeah, they are, and that's a good thing. I got to tell you, like I got so used to growing up, just accepting that my favorite comic book would kind of sort of look like the thing I like. And I'd get excited if like a symbol showed up and like, oh yeah, it's that thing he's always wearing, but we only got a flash of it. Like, great. I don't know. So it's kind of wonderful as they become more and more. And of course, the people growing up reading this stuff is now making the choices and decisions in this industry. So you're seeing that more and more. And I think the industry has gotten kind of the message that be more, if you adapt more closely to the material, and it'll get it. I can't remember if I've already asked you this, but what do you think of Philip Woodburn Bellows? Yeah, you've already asked me that. And Emperor Bellows from the Owl House is one of my favorite villains, not just from like cartoons, from the Disney Channel. Man, he is just excellent. And I can't remember the name of the actor who voices him, but he like is channeling Peter Cushing for somehow. And he plays such like a tyrannical dictator, and he's just literally every terrible thing from fascism to like religious bigotry, the colonialism, and good lord, he has gained so much power, but he is just such a weasel, and like he knows how to manipulate people, and god, what a terrific villain, and scary too. Yeah, big fan of that character. Let's see. DC books are just easier to hand to newbies, which is a big advantage. Yes, and let's see. Would you say that when you only had the Nick Hammond Spider-Man? Yes, Nick Hammond of the '70s Spider-Man was my original Spider-Man, at least live action. And even being a kid, I would like notice live action Spider-Man, him on the Electric Company and him in the '70s CBS show. And even as a kid, I noticed, man, he doesn't talk as much. Like, talks barely at all, and he's not trying to be funny. And I don't know. It's just like, the live action attempts at Spider-Man at first thought he'd be more cool if he didn't talk. I don't know. Or talked very little. I'm not sure Wine would do like all these like kind of sort of things that look like Spider-Man. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. When I hear people bitch and bitch and bitch about like any details in like modern comic book films, I'm going like, I hate to pull that card, but like you don't know. You don't know what it was like. Yes, you mentioned also DC books are, I gotta say, like DC books are easier to recommend because a lot of them will be in their own little like corners of the world, and they have their own little stories. So it is easier to go, hey, do you like Supergirl? Well, here's like Tom King's Supergirl miniseries or something like that. Or here's Batman Year One, or or here's Swamp Thing, or here's Sandman, because they're all kind of like nicely separate, and they do a really good job. They do a better job than Marvel does at encapsulating what the character is, even if they really can't agree what these characters are, but whatever. I think they do a much better job at that than Marvel. Marvel's whole design is to get you to read the next one. So that makes it unfortunately difficult to recommend certain stories to people. Like, hey, I want you to read the Spider-Man, but oh wait, you should probably read these first so you understand what this one's about. Yeah, that's kind of a problem. But I tend to, when I do recommend Marvel to people, to newbies and stuff like that, I tend to kind of like frame it in a way that like, look, stuff's happened. If you want to go back and read those things, go ahead. That's why I guess for the longest time, Marvel was very good at exposition, maybe a little bit too much. They would lean into exposition, where Spidey would like walk into a room and he'd see Harry Osborn, and he'd think to himself, "Oh, hey, it's Harry. I hope he hasn't like had his memory returned and thinks he's the Hobgoblin again, but it doesn't seem like he has. I better like wait, you know that already. Why are you thinking about that? But that's for us. That's for our benefit. So I wish Marvel would get a little bit. I wish Marvel would put out more like stuff that would stand alone in a stronger way. There is some stuff here. I tend to recommend a lot of things from like characters that have not had like gigantic franchises. Like I think Moon Knight is kind of easier to recommend to people. I think Daredevil is kind of easy to recommend. I think She-Hulk stuff is easier to recommend. And like other specific arcs here and there. But yeah, DC definitely has a stronger recommendation vibe than Marvel does. Let's see. I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to get into some news here. Peter Parker were to finally have all the tragic events in his life and quit being Spider-Man. Who do you think he would be letting down the most? Who would he be letting down the most? Himself. I think he's a better person than he thinks he is. Let's see. Really want to show people Hickman's X-Men, but boy, that could possibly, break a layman's mind. Yeah, I would definitely start with Hawks and Pox. I think, look, let them know, like, hey, X-Men stuff has happened before, and I think that's probably a good. I think Hawks and Pox is a good start, and then there's some other things like God Lives, Man Kills, but that's like an old one. But there are a few little diamonds in the rough. You have to look. But hey, all right. Now I'm going to get to some comic news, and yeah, we're going to be talking about 2 items this week. Hopefully, if I can continue. I can do more, but there's a couple things. First off, Nicholas Hoult has apparently been cast as Lex Luthor in the big James Gunn Superman Legacy film, and I am fucking excited for that because I have been a longstanding proponent of an actor like Billy Zane. I've been like since the '90s. Billy Zane should play Luthor. Billy Zane should play Luthor. Watch him in Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. He would be, Titanic and Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. Watch those 2 movies together and tell me he wouldn't be the best, like Lex Luthor ever. But I guess I have to admit, that ship has sailed. We're not ever going to get that. So I think an actor like Nicholas Hoult is an amazing choice. He's a young actor who can definitely do. He definitely has that generic good looking actor appearance, but he does a lot of acting with his eyes, and he is such a stronger actor than some of his peers of his appearance. Like he is so good in The Great. God, he's really good in The Great. If you've only seen him in the X-Men movies, watch him in the 2 seasons of The Great. He is fantastic in that really complex role. He's really hateable. Matter of fact, as soon as I heard he was playing Luthor, I was thinking of him in The Great because, god damn, he's such a bastard in that. And he's also really compelling, and you could like him and then turn around and hate him instantly and want him to die. It's just such a great performance, and he's really good as Beast. But he doesn't get enough material in those films to really kind of show off. Like if he ever went back to playing Beast in the MCU, and he has to play the very shady, morally gray Beast that's been in the comics lately, that would be interesting. I would love to see that. I'd love to see Kelsey Grammer do that kind of Beast. But we'll see. I really would like. Never mind. That's another subject. But I am super excited, and this cast and what James Gunn. I keeps talking about what he's doing with the film. I am this is probably the most excited I've been about a Superman film ever. Even more so than the original Christopher Reeve film, which I was excited for it, but like, it was coming out. And I was excited for Man of Steel because I really did like Zack Snyder back in the day. And I was very interested to see what he could do with it, even though I wasn't sure if he'd be the right fit. And I don't know if he was the right fit. But that film looked good. But I think James Gunn is like, God, he's got such a good voice and a good eye. And I think I'm very excited. And I'm very excited to see Holt go on this role. Let's see. Do I have any comments on that? Holt is great. And the Menu. That's right. He's also in the Menu. Very good. He's my kind of favorite part of the movie called The Favorite. Both kind of slimy characters. God, yeah, he can do that. So he can do like likable and slimy, sometimes on a heel turn, which is Lex Luthor. I heard that Nicholas Hoult auditioned for the Batman. That's true. Was disappointed when he didn't get hired, but I'm glad he got hired to be Luthor. Yeah, that's true. I think he would have been a good Batman. But I'm actually happier with him as Luthor, frankly. If Superman Legacy is as good as my adventures with Superman, I think it's going to help shape people in the perception of what Superman is. Yeah, in the last few years, because of the DCEU, Superman has developed this fan base of people who kind of don't like Superman. Like, they've like, it seems like it's dawned on them how powerful he is. So they've really gotten into that part of the character, and that being really like hype, like, oh man, this guy could kill everybody. Like, yeah, that's not why people like him. That's not why he's been around for 80 years. That's kind of the point. He is the most decent person around who has the power, and his problems usually involve like how not to abuse this power so he can save the day and save his friends and stuff like that. And that's not the point of him like destroying like literally everyone in his way, because Lois got a cut finger or something like that. Done with that garbage. So I'm very happy to see that. And I've already done a review of my adventures with Superman. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I really like that show. Let's see. I am trying to be optimistic about Superman Legacy, but I have concerns. It's good to have concerns. I don't know if I feel like I've gone past cautiously optimistic. I think I'm at just optimistic. I kind of have good feelings. Excuse me. But yeah, that's kind of all I feel about Holt right now. I'm a big fan of that actor, and I think he's like a beautiful fit for Luthor. All right, now we have another story. It is admittedly a comic I'm not currently reading because I'm with X-Men. I get really into X-Men, and then X-Men becomes this gigantic web of comics and stories that I cannot keep up with, and it does it every time I get into X-Men. It does this to me. And lately I haven't been reading any X-Men books, but I'm really interested in the story that's popped up this past week, and it is regarding Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler's biological origins have been kind of up in the air for most of his creations. And, it was established that Mystique was his mother, and his father was, I forgot the name of that guy. That guy who looks like a red Nightcrawler or something like that. But there had been this story that had been out for several years. God, I can't remember if it came out in the general public in the 90s after Chris Claremont left, that Chris Claremont's Azrael, thank you. there's a story that I believe it came out in the 90s that Chris Claremont originally planned for, Nightcrawler's parent would be Mystique, but Mystique wouldn't be his mother. Mystique would be his dad. And we finally did that in, what is it, X-Men, blah, 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 X-Men Blue Origins. Let's see. X-Men Blue Origins, #1, that just came out. And it establishes the backstory that, Mystique wasn't his mom. Destiny was his mom. And Mystique turned into like a guy and fucked Destiny. And they both had Nightcrawler. That's kind of because she or they. I don't know if the pronouns have changed on Mystique. So forgive me if I go back and forth on it. But let's see, Mystique could do that. Like, it's not just like a face. Like, she can turn into, men and women and, kids and old people and take their form. So yeah, that kind of makes sense that they'd be able to do that. And, they love Destiny. So, man, Destiny has had a pretty good love life, I'd imagine, because, she's with this shapeshifter who can literally be anything she would like. And it's actually kind of, I haven't bought the issue, but it was spoiled for me online. I did get to read a couple pages of it, and it's actually really, really sweet. Maybe I'll go back and check out the book over at my comic book store. But I'm really happy they got to do that. Jim Shooter was the one who put the kibosh on that. And as much as I like a lot of the stuff Jim Shooter ushered in to Marvel, like, look, Jim Shooter has a lot to do with what made Marvel in the 80s so huge. But he did some shit that I do not care for. And one of the things was putting the kibosh on anything gay, anything remotely LGBT. And that was one of the things that he was just like dead set. Like, no, nah. Mystique got with a guy. That's, and I mean, these things just did not age well in a form of media that continues through the ages. So that's one of the really interesting things about that. So I'm really happy that got changed. We got to do the Chris Claremont thing, and Chris Claremont is still with us. So he got to see, even if he didn't write it, he got to see his original idea come to fruition. I'm kind of happy for him. I haven't heard him. I probably should have maybe looked online and see if he had any public reactions to it. But one way or the other, he's got to be. Even if he didn't like the way it was portrayed in the issue, he's got to be feeling pretty good about Ron. He's got to be feeling pretty vindicated, I got to say. Let's see. What do we got here? As we got a tail and can teleport like Nightcrawler, so Nightcrawler inherited that from him. Yeah, that was the obvious go-to. A lot of people are hating on that Mystique thing, but I think it's a very interesting change. However, Azrael, I mean, it's kind of, I think that was kind of the design, to kind of like settle that, issue back then. Like, oh, well, we can't do, the Mystique thing. Well, how about we, come up with this guy who's just like Nightcrawler? Yeah, I mean, it seems like a pretty typical things. Hey, guys, what are we talking about? We were talking about Nicholas Hoult being cast as Lex Luthor. We are now talking about Nightcrawler and his dad, Mystique. And I think that's a really... I was going over the fact that I think it's kind of wonderful that finally, this story that Chris Claremont wanted to do. It's too bad that he didn't get to tell that version of the story. But like I said, I'm excited that there are some things he also wanted to do. There's some things maybe that weren't so great, maybe so great, and other things that were great. He Claremont sowed a lot of like seeds in his run, his 11-year run. That God, he wrote everything X-Men for a while, to the point where it really does feel like he's the creator of the X-Men. And there are times where I wish like he could come back as a more stronger voice. And yeah, it is good, and you should, uh, have people like take the reins and pick it up, from there, because Claremont did that. He picked it up from Kirby and Lee and Danny O'Neill and stuff like that, before him. Um, but he has so much love and thought, and there's so much he put into these characters. It would be nice if Marvel did kind of like still, developed with him. Even if he isn't the main writer or a writer on the books. Let's see. Claremont is still all over the place in terms of how he feels about everything these days. That's true. Shooter's a kind of big conservative moral hand wringer, but somehow some of my favorite Marvel stuff happened under his watch. Agreed. Me too. Yeah, there's a lot of crap that I don't particularly like about Shooter, and yeah, a lot of the stories about how he handled business, not great. Like he sounds like a real pain to work for, but a lot of what I love about Marvel came under his watch. I mean, he is, or was, I don't know if he still is, but he he is a talented editor, and he really knew where to go with these characters and knew what would work. So he's one of those kind of mixed bag kind of things. Like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff I hate about him, but did some good work too. And that's one of the complicated things about artists and creators. Sometimes, yeah, they're talented, but kind of sometimes they suck at stuff, and you have to you unfortunately can't like throw the baby out with the bathwater when someone reveals themselves like that, or there are problematic issues about them. It's like, like, yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like Joss Whedon with me. Like, yeah, I mean, he sucks, but God, he like for like God, what 10, 15 years turned out some really good stuff, or ushered in maybe taking some credit where maybe he didn't deserve. But he is a really talented filmmaker and writer. Which sucks. It would be great if when someone came out and revealed that they suck, then you could look back and go, well, wait, oh, their art sucks. No, unfortunately not. That doesn't always work that way. It's great. It'd be great if it did. I wonder if Destiny will ever be in an X-Men film. Yeah, Evolution. She is really usually MIA, isn't she? I'm hoping that can change in MCU. Now, one of the things I'm hoping MCU does with its X-Men, whatever they're doing, I hope they can be comfortable with developing some characters and stories that the Fox films did not touch on. Yeah, let's put the Phoenix thing on the shelf for a while, and let's look at some other things and some other characters. And Destiny would definitely be one of them. I'd love to see Destiny in live action in the MCU films. I'd be curious where they go. Will they do a younger version of Destiny, or will they go with like the original older version? It'd be fun if they did that weird Sherlock Holmes thing that she and Mystique have. I don't know if they'll go with that because it's such an odd choice. I don't know if they'll do that. It would be great if they did. But because it would definitely distinguish this Mystique from the previous two, from Rebecca Romaine and Jennifer Lawrence, it would definitely, that would be like a fucking left turn. Like, okay, this is our Mystique. This is what we're doing with this character. We'll see. It would be nice also if Rogue is introduced through Mystique, uh, instead of just showing up and being the new Kitty Pryde. Um, we'll see. A Captain Marvel movie would be a really good way to introduce Rogue and Mystique. Yes, and I have that pitch, and I don't know if there's going to be a third one after the disappointing performance of this film. I would love it if they did one more and made Mystique, Rogue, and Destiny the villains of that film. Because I think one of the things that I didn't care for on the new film is that there's barely anything for the villain to do outside of just push the plot forward. And they had a good actress to do it, but the film wasn't interested in that. Had other things to do, and maybe a little bit more time, maybe 20 more minutes of film. They could have gave her some more scenery to chew and kind of go for it. But I understand you're telling the story. But if you put Mystique, Rogue, and Destiny in a Captain Marvel film, okay, we got some shit going on. So I keep hoping they'll do that, because that obviously, look, that kind of, I'll be honest, that kind of story writes itself, because let's say first 20 minutes they take down Carol, and they start ravaging through the movie, and the movie would be about Carol kind of picking herself back up and regaining her powers and going after them, which is that thematically works with her story, specifically the MCU version. But we'll see. I don't know if this new film had been a hit. That would be an easy argument to make, but I don't know where we're going. That's actually, I gotta say, with all the shit MCU is going through right now and the discussions on it, which are fascinating. One of the things that's fun is I don't know where the MCU is going right now. What are we doing with the Fantastic Four? What are we doing with the X-Men? What are we doing with the Avengers universe and Spider-Man? I'm kind of excited where we're going. Because for all the shit Phase 4 gets from fans and non-fans, it really did open up the universe outside of just the main three guys over and over again. So I don't know where we're going, and I'm kind of excited about that. Not sure if that would work with mutants and with a recent development in the MCU, but it's what I meant. I'm a big. I've mentioned this before in previous videos. I'm a big proponent of mutants exist. Here they are. I don't want Wanda to snap her fingers and Wolverine pops out of dimension X23 or some shit like that. No, I don't want that. We'll see. They're toying with them being in other dimensions. So my hope is, the Fox universe and this other version of the universe are in this parallel, universe, but they're here already, and they're about to kind of become a thing. At least that's my hope of how they go about it. Let's see. I want Cyclops to be a more forefront and more front and center because he's the leader, and he's gotten sidelined in every film. Yes, he has. Man, since the '99 film, Cyclops has had a rough go. He has been character assassinated over and over again. And this is, I think, a prime time, and the MCU could do this. This is a good time for him to kind of make his comeback, at least in film. I think in comics, I think he's been just fine. I think they've done a really good job bringing him back in comics. So we'll see. Let's see. Thoughts of Doctor Doom, potential casting? No, I'm not even gonna. He is such a character. I do not want to kind of think about that right now. I'm more interested in kind of hearing what they say. What I don't know. He's He's such a big over the top character. I'm not sure who could do it. I don't know. I'll think about that. It's one of those things where I haven't had like Lex Luthor with Billy Zane. He's been my go-to choice for years. I don't really have that for Doom, so we'll see. All right, what time is it? We're just about to. Oh, we're not bad. We are just about the end of this show, and I just wanted to thank everybody for coming in live. So I'm going to be trying to do live shows weekly, and I kind of like shoot the shit with you guys. I want to talk about comic news and stuff like that, as well as I will probably be doing any kind of new comic reviews here instead of like the regular videos. So that kind of opens up other videos through the channel. So let's see what's coming up. I can actually tell you right now. I just finished Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, and I'm preparing a review for that. Let's see. I do have another MST 3K review coming up. So if you guys who still like hearing me talk about that, not to mention, I'm going to start doing more videos about writing. I love writing. I love talking about writing and art in general, but specifically writing because that's the thing I could do. I'm going to do a video soon about writing action and my advice on how to go about it and any questions people might have. So that's kind of coming up in the next couple weeks on the channel. If there's anything you want to see me talk about, any comics or films or TV shows, let me know. I got commentaries coming up. I've been wanting to talk. I want to do a video about YouTube reactors because I have some thoughts that I think are interesting that I don't really hear other people say. So I kind of want to bring that out there. So yeah, I'm back. I'm excited to do YouTube and Real Manos. So I hope you can join me for more videos. So hey, that's going to be it for now. Thank you so much for coming in. This was nice. I wasn't sure if I'd be talking to myself or not. So it's really good having you here. I'll be back hopefully next week. I'll know by the weekend if it's going to be on Sunday or postponed. But it should be next Sunday at 8. And I'll be talking to you then. Bye.